At least 15 people are dead. More than 30 others are hurt. The New Orleans police superintendent says the driver was, quote, hell-bent on creating carnage. The FBI identifying the suspect as 42-year-old Shamsud Dinjabar, a U.S. citizen from Texas and an Army veteran who was killed in a shootout with police. The agency also says an ISIS flag and other explosives were found in the truck. Agents are asking the public for help to find any other potential leads, and there have been various questions about whether there may be others who have been involved in this. Officials say their case is very active, and they still are clearing the crime scene tonight there. Let me go to Tom Yamas right now, who has been watching along with us from New Orleans. Tom, what's the status of things now?
Lester, good evening. Well, I want to show our viewers where this all happened. It happened just not a lot stopping him, and that's why he was able to go at least 3 blocks. Those questions are being asked right now, Lester, and a lot of people here in New Orleans just shaken to their core. Not only people who live in New Orleans, they love New Orleans, but also all the people that are in town, the tourists that came here to celebrate New Year's Day and college football and got a much different experience, Lester.
And Tom, as you know, there has been a lot of
Were there where all of those ballards have been. We had that. We knew. Up onto the sidewalk.
Was someone getting up on a sidewalk possible, or was this not something you expected you would have to account for?
Yes, of course, it wasn't something we expected to account for.
New Orleans, the latest high-profile deadly ramming attack following the German Christmas market attack last month, the Berlin truck attack in 2016, and the one in Nice, France that same year. Jose Liris was visiting New Orleans and left the area just before the attack this morning.
The metal barricades were not up, just the standard plastic ones like you see there. There was police there at the entrance, a lot of police there, but the metal barricades were not up.
A city website showing what the new bollards may look like says the project is set to be completed next month. But a nationally televised college football playoff game is supposed to be played here tomorrow night. New Orleans City Council member Helena Moreno says the city is ready.
Do you think New Orleans can host a football game here this week safely?
I'm going to tell you this, that right now so many resources are being deployed down to the city of New Orleans that no doubt about it, we will host a safe game tomorrow. Everything from federal resources, state resources, additional intelligence, like you name it. It's like that's all happening.
And Jesse, again, joining us live from New Orleans. We understand the concern about these bollards and that they weren't in place for this attack. But is there any indication that the attacker was aware that had potentially cased the area before the attack?
At this point, Lester, we haven't seen anything from officials about potential other targets in the city of New Orleans. But what I can tell you is something that would potentially be a prime target in the city this week and also next month is where I am right now. This is the Superdome. It is supposed to host a football game. It was supposed to host it tonight in just a matter of a couple of hours, but that was postponed because of the events in the early morning hours. They have delayed the game till tomorrow. The Super Bowl is also supposed to be played here next month. And what I can tell you has changed here throughout the day. You can see all the flashing police lights. That presence has been here pretty much throughout the afternoon. But what is new in the last couple hours is these barricades. There were some of them down there, but they've extended them down the block throughout the afternoon, Lester.
All right, Jesse Kirsch will ask you to stand by. This deadly attack in New Orleans comes after months of FBI warnings that terror threats are on the rise in the U.S. Now, federal authorities are ramping up security ahead of some major events going on this month. Our Gabe Gutierrez joins us live with that. Gabe, good evening.
Good evening, Lester. Well, as you mentioned, we're waiting to hear from President Biden in just a short time, acting in his role not just as commander-in-chief, but consoler-in-chief. But as you mentioned, federal authorities have been on high alert for some time.
Tonight, the nation's capital is under heightened security out of what police say is an abundance of caution, though there is no specific threat. With a slew of major security events this month in D.C., the January 6th anniversary, former President Carter's funeral, and the inauguration of President-elect Trump, federal authorities are on high alert.
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration.
While investigators have not yet determined a motive in the New Orleans attack, they say the suspect had an ISIS flag on his truck as he carried it out. There are also mounting questions about the Las Vegas explosion outside a Trump hotel. And in a sign of the growing danger, experts say the number of domestic terrorist attacks and plots against government targets alone motivated by political beliefs in the past 5 years was nearly triple the previous 25 years combined. The FBI has also been warning the threat from homegrown violent extremists that are jihadist-inspired is surging.
Since October 7th, though, that threat has gone to a whole nother level.
Add to that the unprecedented 2 assassination attempts this summer on then-candidate Trump.
Today, President-elect Trump, who's here at Mar-a-Lago, commenting on the New Orleans attack in a social media post, praising the officers involved and pledging that his administration would fully support the city of New Orleans. Lester?
All right, Gabe Gutierrez, thank you. I spoke with Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill a short time ago. I began by asking if there is an active manhunt underway.
Well, Well, there certainly is continuing to be an active investigation so that we can identify just how many additional individuals were involved, but I can tell you with some certainty that there are multiple individuals who are involved.
There has been some reporting that there may have been individuals who were handling or placing IEDs, explosive devices. Can you confirm that?
Yes, and there was a house fire in New Orleans this morning that was connected to this event where we believe the IEDs were being made.
So you have a location where you believe the IEDs were being manufactured?
We do. It was an Airbnb, so we know that these individuals had rented the house, were using it for that purpose, and then the other events unfolded early this morning.
Under the circumstances, there might be others out there. Is it wise to go forward with the football again, the Sugar Bowl, even a day later?
You know, not my decision, but I would like to see it delayed at least another day. If they asked my opinion, I would tell them that. I think that it was a wise decision to delay it at least a day. This is an active crime scene, and, you know, they just finished removing some of the bodies, and they still haven't removed all of them. And I still think that we probably need to wait an extra day.
Is there a further threat to the community?
No, I believe that the community is safe, and there certainly are a lot of there's a huge law enforcement presence here in New Orleans. I believe that everyone is safe, and the governor plans to attend the football game.
Do you believe there will be full accountability for lapses in physical barriers or proper physical barriers at the crime scene?
Yes, I think that, you know, absolutely there's going to be an after-action analysis of any failures that occurred and anything that could have been done and wasn't done to secure that area. And if there's any lapses, then it will be fixed.
Attorney General Merrill, we thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, Lester.
And more now on the deadly attack in New Orleans. Tom Winter, our law enforcement and intelligence correspondent, joins us now. Tom, what will authorities be doing to investigate there, whether there were co-conspirators involved in this?
Well, just to follow up on that interview that you did there, Lester, with the Attorney General, that Airbnb that we see there in New Orleans is certainly a focus. Were there any individuals that were coming in and out of that Airbnb? Can they get any sort of video from that location? And what about the IEDs? If he was making these improvised or homemade explosive devices there, how was he making them? What was the technical capability of them? Were they remote detonated? Did they have the ability to set them off? Or others going to set them off? Who was coming in and out of that house, if anybody? That's going to be a focus. So that's column A. Column B is specifically those particular improvised explosive devices that were not found in the car, but were nearby this scene on Bourbon Street or near Bourbon Street. We are told that initially the FBI was looking at several individuals who were seen near them. They've since wrapped up that investigation, or at least that avenue, and it appears that they are not connected with placing these suspected devices there. So it is still possible overall, Lester, when you look at this investigation, that this individual did in fact act alone, but it's just far too soon to say. And one of the things that they're looking at